A very good evening to all our attendees and viewers who are watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. A very warm welcome to our Author Saga series. A quick recap for those of you who are new to Pick a Book. Pick a Book is all about reading, more reading, and inculcating the habit of reading and research and presenting the summary of it in our regular meeting sessions. Creating a better world by changing the sense of self through the habit of reading is the vision of Pick a Book. Currently, Pick a Book marks its inspiring presence in 4 countries: Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, and UK, with over 1,200 plus readers, 19 plus regions, and 100,000 plus people inspired so far in a span of 1.5 years. While Pick a Book continues to spread its wings across the globe, we have come up with this beautiful initiative, a brand of our own called Author Saga series, wherein the authors can reach their readers and individuals with like-minded interests. Authors can also discuss the key insights of their books, and readers can have this wonderful opportunity to know more from the book, about the book from the author himself. So, our today's guest is an absolute example of how one can achieve their dream if they have the vision and commitment to do so. So, let's welcome Mr. T.Sayandhan, the CEO of Sunshine Pharma and the author of this amazing book, From a Medical Rep to CEO.
Hi, Sorna. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you with us too, and thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get to know a little more about Author today, the guest of ours. T.Sayandhan is a CEO for last 9 years and currently working at Sunshine Healthcare Lanka Limited, so which is a leading healthcare organization. And T.Sayandhan has more than 30 years of experience in healthcare industry, working for Hemas and the GlaxoSmithKline. He is currently a doctoral candidate, possessing MBA, carrying chartered marketer and practicing marketer titles. To his credit, he is a fellow of Chartered Institute of Marketing, a fellow of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, and fellow of Institute of Management of Sri Lanka. So during his leisure time, he focused on teaching MBA students, developing people, and creating business models. So a very warm welcome once again. It's a pleasure to have you with us, and let's.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so without much delay, we take this privilege to congratulate you on the success of this wonderful book, and we all wish you a long way in writing. Yeah. So, Mr. Sayandhan, are you an avid reader?
I do. Since of late, I started reading, which where I thought that's a big source of knowledge, and I now have made it a habit. So every weekend I go to Candy and come back. So my journey there, I have dedicated the time to read a lot.
Okay. So, I mean, when did you actually started reading? Was it a childhood habit, or you just picked it up somewhere in between?
Childhood, I started novels. I think Enid Blyton was one of my favorite author during my school days, I would say. Then
Okay.
slowly went into the detectives like the Alfred Hitchcock
Mm.
and things like that, where I had the exploratory ideas coming in later on, perhaps in my 18s. But
Okay.
since of late, it had changed into leadership, management, change. Things have changed what I read. I think from
Mhm.
childhood, I've been reading, I would say.
Great. Okay, so from reading to writing. So what's changed? What create brought you that shift? You have started writing your own book, and why did you choose to do so? And what is that? When did you realize that you want to write a book?
Okay. The main reason is I found my father was a role model to me, and I
Mhm.
always heard that he wanted to write his book, and he kept on postponing. And ultimately, in 2020, he passed away in March, and he never couldn't write his book. So
Okay.
this kept in my mind, am I also going to be like that? So I thought, I'm not going to wait till my 60s or 70s to write. And with COVID, it was a clear message when you will get your call to say goodbye. So I thought I'm going to write it. Then I thought last December 25th, I celebrated my 50th birthday. I thought, come what may, I'm going to launch it on that day. So this
Okay.
thought process came last year, May,
Mhm.
with one of my friends when I was having a discussion, Shuo Hridayesh, who is also in this forum now. Then I clicked it and I thought I started writing. And from May onwards, from the word go, I started writing and I made it happen. And in fact, I launched it on the 25th of December on my 50th birthday.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so nice to hear that. Yeah, yeah, like you said, COVID has indeed, have brought a lot of change in our thinking, I would say. Yeah, so a lot of people have started thinking differently and get on to things, doing things differently. So great to know that. Okay, so did you find it difficult to title this book, or was it an easy pick?
I had a confusion. Initially, I thought I'll make it an autobiography, and I thought I'll write my 50 years of my story since I decided on my 50 years. But
Hmm.
later, when I thought in that 50 years lies the 30-year career of my life, then I
Okay.
thought if I write something that should be also useful someone, then I thought knowing about only my story, how it could benefit the society,
Mhm.
versus if I thought if can write something which can improve someone else, let that be, so if somebody can pick something which helped me to grow myself, then
Mhm.
hence I changed the title from a CEO, medical rep, to a CEO, which I thought can inspire somewhere else. So that way I changed and redefined my thoughts to of the book.
Great. So the title, in fact, the title has to speak a lot before they even open the book. So that way, totally justifiable, to understand that, what the title holds for us. Okay. 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 Let's get into more about the book and the concepts in the book. Okay. So to start with, I would like to know why is it important to have a vision?
Okay. Simply, I would say it's the purpose of life. So when I deal with the employees who join me, or when I speak to students, or when I speak to youngsters, often, especially the youngsters come for interview, I ask them, "What do you want to be?" And most often, youngsters actually they start thinking only at that moment. So one of the things I push people is, see, countries have vision. Countries like Singapore, Malaysia, India, they have a vision. This is what we want to be. And if you take organization, conglomerate, multinational organization, very clearly articulated vision. So I ask, if organization, if countries can have vision, why not you? As an individual, why are you not having a vision? We all came for a purpose. It may change from person to person. Have that purpose at young days, clearly articulate your vision, or that could be a dream. So I feel it's very important that every individual have a vision, and I keep pushing it.
Awesome. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, so it is clear and evident that Mr. Saindhan says it is equally important to have a vision to achieve it before. Okay. So, and anyone who's watching us live can post your questions. We can take it up at the end of the sessions. Whatever you want to ask, Mr. Saindhan, you are welcome mostly. Okay. And yeah, so with my second question, okay, now it's clear that vision is very important. So once the vision is set, what are the key factors that should drive them towards their vision?
Okay, so here where I'm going to share my success story, or which had been my mantras. So out of the 7 mantras for success, my number one mantra is go have a vision. Once you decide, hey, this is what I want to become, the second mantra of mine, it says be passionate. Being passionate means you own the vision. So sometimes we are pushed to do things when we are kids. The parents drive, hey, I am a doctor, I want you to become a doctor. I am an engineer, I want you to become an engineer. But this is not what the child wants to achieve. I've heard people in their 40s coming back and saying, hey, I'm doing this profession, but actually I don't want to, I want to be a music teacher. This is what I love. So what I feel is you live, be passionate, and you own that vision. Don't do it for your spouse. Don't do it for your parents. Don't do it for your girlfriend or boyfriend. You own it and you be passionate. So my number one thing is, once you have a vision, be passionate with it and you own it. Then each day, you and I, we have 101 things to do. We have so many things to do. So in that process, your vision get lost. So it's very, very key. You plan and prioritize. In that 20 things to do, in that 70 things to do per day, what are the things I'm going to do? What are the things I'm not going to do? So it's very important to know your priority and align your vision, you plan and prioritize. This is my mantra number 3. When you do that, you will eventually find you need to change and adapt. Environment is changing, people are changing. So in the way to the vision, you should also be ready to change and adapt, which is my next mantra. Achieving a vision, a dream is not easy. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. So that's my next mantra, where one need to make a lot of sacrifice between two options. He need to forego one, take another. So that's something he need to do. Fear of failure is another element where people fear to take decisions or make moves. So when you live your dream, taking risk is another mantra which I mentioned. And then the final mantra which I mentioned is all about integrity. What you do when no one is watching. So sometimes we do things to rest of the world. When he's watching, I do this. When he's not watching, I do something else. When you have your own, not the case. So I said you can cheat your teacher, you can cheat your employee, your employer, your parents, but you cannot cheat yourself. So be true to yourself, which my last mantra is integrity. So these are some of the things which had helped me, which have been the different chapters of my book, the 7 chapters which spell out that. And for me, very key to have them if you have a aligned and a clear vision.
Awesome, superb. Gives us the perfect answer for this question. So, ladies and gentlemen, in short, to make it, our vision. Once the vision is set, so it is important to have a passion to own your vision, and prioritize your your job, and then you have to be adapting to the situations, to the new things, and you have to have a lot of sacrifices as well. And it is also important to risk, and most of all, the integrity, that gave us a clarity of what integrity in this sense mean actually. So that was very, very useful, and thank you so much for sharing with us. And okay, now you said in our previous question, like you say the change is something that is very constant and inevitable, of course. So how to one cope up with the change?
So anyone has two options. Either you embrace change or resist change. And we see both happening around us. So I would say a person who has a clear vision, and if that change is aligned to your vision, this is the time you're going to adapt it and you're going to like it. And sometimes when you go through that path, some of the changes may not be aligned to you, but still you will have to embrace it. So this is where your adaptability come in. If you don't manage that change, it may lead to stress and frustration as well.
Yeah.
One of the biggest change I would say is my life. So here I am, I'm a Tamil Hindu married to a Sinhalese Catholic. The language is different, the religion is different.
Yeah.
You can imagine the changes. So I either accept it or I resist. So if it was my decision, might as well move on. So that's one change. Talking of change, in aligning myself to vision, say in the journey of me becoming from a medical rep to a CEO, there are instances I had to change the job. So when you move from one organization to another organization, there are a lot of changes. It's not the same employees, it's not the same boss, it's totally a new culture. So you got to change it. So these are things which comes in the form of change. So how you accept it, align it, adapting, once you know the art, then your life become easy. One example is so many people are finding it difficult to adjust themselves to live with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Faster
Exactly.
you adapt, your life become better. And I think most of us have sooner or later have found it how to live with it. Another
Yeah.
change which is inevitable.
Exactly. That's the best example one can give and one can understand, because we are all in that situation right now. We can see the difference between the first wave and in the third wave, the adaptability difference. So awesome, great. Okay, so I mean, what were your dreams as a child? Because you have seen the life, from a very normal person to being a CEO. Does your dreams relate the same, or do you still dream, or how is it important? How important is dreaming, in your opinion?
For me, it started when I was 19. So at the age of 19, I clearly mentioned, I think I put it in writing, I want to become managing director. So that was listed down in my third interview of my very first job itself. And there was a trigger factor which took me towards it. So ever since that day, I would say I woke up for that to achieve that dream. So and in fact, I became a CEO at 40, and I took a big risk in taking that. While accepting that job itself, I knew this is going to be a hot seat and a hot place. But simply to get that title, which was one of my dream, I said yes, and it happened, and it worked positively for me. Having said that, you asked whether I still keep dreaming. So people ask me, hey, Sayandhan, now you want to become a CEO at 40, you have become a CEO, now you're 50. Now what's next? What is your next dream? My current dream, yes, I still keep dreaming. My only dream now is to give back to the society in
Okay.
whatever possible way. So giving back, number one, if I can give back knowledge, what I have learned, giving back, if I can give happiness. Some feel you cannot give happiness, but you can. That's a big thing. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. Whether you can give wealth back once you have a lot of money and you have a certain amount what you need to live. I mean, if you have so much of food and if this is what you need to live, why not give the excess food to a poor person? Why
Yeah.
can't we donate 10% of our salary to a poor? Last but not least, if you can't give anything back, I say give a smile, which is free. You smile in the morning to another unknown person, it brings so much of joy. So giving back is all about what I dream now, and that's the only dream I achieve now. So if I can give back more happiness, that's my dream.
That's wonderful. That's way too wonderful, because that last word has changed the whole scenario to it, because nobody ever think of, giving back a smile, as simple as that. In fact, as you said, rightly said, that definitely changes one's mood. Yeah, it changes your mood and the person as well, who you give the smile to. That's a beautiful way of saying it. Thank you so much. Um, Okay, so I have heard it in one of your interviews, maybe, you were mentioning about three important questions one must ask themselves, before starting their, as an entrepreneur or stepping into a corporate life. So, yeah, can you just throw us some light on that?
Okay. For me, the three essential questions are, of course, coming with the vision. The three essential questions are, where are you now? Where do you want to go? And how do you get there? So where are you now says where which position you are in now.
Mhm.
Where do you want to get is your vision. So you can say at 50 I want to achieve, or at 60 years I want to achieve this, or at 70 I want to achieve. Then comes your period, the target time period where, and you can decide how you want to get there. So for me, if I relate to that, at the age of 19, I decided at 40, I want to become a CEO or a managing director. So it was very clear. At 25, I need to complete more the degree what I wanted. At 30, I had to do my MBA in terms of academic qualification, supporting that plan.
Okay.
Then also it was very clear I need to step into the executive level at 25. I had to become the senior manager at 30 and then master it. And then with the experience I need to level. So all this could be planned out and in answering the question. But if you don't ask those three questions,
Hmm.
without your knowledge today, the days go fast, the time goes fast. You will be still, where are you now? At the age of 50 also, you can't be at, hey, I am here. So ask where you want to go and be there. I mean, this is exactly the strategic exercise the corporate world do and the countries do. So why not you? So these are
Okay.
my three essential questions. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? How do you get there? And for God's sake, go there.
That's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. That's what made Mr. Saindhan reach his goal, in such a short span of time. So that's wonderful. Okay, so coming to the challenges part, being an entrepreneur and, having come to the stage from where you are, you must have faced a lot of challenges in your whole journey. So, what is that one challenge that you faced in your corporate journey that changed the way you perceived a particular thing?
Okay, what challenges me is the challenge itself. I would say the challenges which keep me going. So, if you take the corporate world, I will share 2 to 3 examples which I would say. So, when I was at GlaxoSmithKline,
Mhm.
the favorite brand I handled as a product manager, brand manager, and then a category manager was Augmentin. So I had the challenge to make it the number one antibiotic. So that was the challenge I took because it was number 3 or number 4. It was way behind. So I took the challenge. I said, I'm going to grow this. Believe me, it not only became the number one antibiotic, it became the number one pharmaceutical product in Sri Lanka in 1998. So for me,
Okay.
that challenge took me there and that challenge get me going. Then in my second phase, when I was a country manager for Elegant or Abbott Medical Optics in my career at AMAS, when I joined, it had negative growth, 11% market share in that subsegment. I still remember when I met the principals, he said, Sayandhan, what's your dream for Elegant? I said to achieve 50% market share. He asked, what? He said, Sayandhan, why don't you have achievable dream? Why don't you put something which you can do? 50 is too high. I said, why not? Then he said, you mean to say every 100 rupees of prescription, 50 is going to be only for your company? I said, let's give it a try. I said, let's aim at 50. So at least we can come somewhere. Believe me, it took 10 years. In 2011, when the research figures, we have the pharmaceutical research called IQVIA, then it was IMS. December
Mhm.
2011, it said 50.3% market share. And for me, that was a dream come true. So I
Wow.
challenged, drove the team towards it, and we achieved it. And that was the growth. And then when the CEO assignment when I was took, I said yes to it. It was a loss making entity. So the chairman said, hey, I want this to be turned to profitable. So it took 3 years, double the growth, and made it profitable. So I feel if you have the will, there is a way. All you got to do is you have to believe that you can do, take that challenge, embrace it, and move towards it. And if you take that attitude, nothing is impossible in this life.
That was so, so, so inspiring. With examples, we can understand clearly, like, how your journey has taken the leap. Yes, like how you said, we just can't agree more on that. You need to have that will to do, before, and everything is possible. And you are the best example right in front of us. So thank you so much for that, such lovely examples. Okay, so when we are talking about the journey so far and the challenges and everything you faced in life, and it took you so many years, must have taken you so many years. So, what, according to you, is the right age to start achieving your dreams? First of all, is there one? What's your take on that?
I would say it depends on the urge that person get it, and I really don't know at what age do they get it. For
Mhm.
me, I told you I got it at the age of 19. Some may get it at 10. I have seen school young kids; they are very clear. They say, "I want to become." Already, sometimes I hear my daughter saying, "I want to become a teacher." Very clear. Some people even at 26, 27, 30, they don't figure it out and still they are under the patronage or under the care of their parents, well fed, well entertained. They may not see it, so only when they come out they feel, hey, I need to achieve it. Some they're pushed against a corner, they get into tight corner, and they to come out, they come out and say, hey, I'm going to do that. So for me, the answer is there's no right age, but when that urge come and when you are, sometimes it's situational where people get that and say, hey, I'm going to get it. So it can come from your colleagues, your environment, from competition, or it can come from your own when they become an adult. So faster they face, then they are pushed against and they know the reality, then they get faster into that. So then they drive and they move on. See, if you are thrown into a water, you fall into a swimming pool, whether you know to swim or not, survival becomes the strategy, then you learn to swim. But then if you are not, and if somebody, the lifeguard is always saving you, when are
Yeah,
you live that swimming or learn that swimming?
exactly. That's wonderful. That's a great way of putting it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the right. See, as you said, there is no age, minimum age or a maximum age. All you have to do is, just have the right spirit and then just right planning, and then you have to be on it when it comes. So, yep, just hold on to there. Your time is yet to come, or your time must have started. So your clock is always ticking. So just be ready for whatever you get it, whatever the age it is. So let's get it going. So thank you so much. And okay, so when we are talking about books, so it's been a lot of information on your personal journey. So what's because you are also a reader, what's your the most the book that inspired you the most?
I would say The Good to Great. That
Oh,
book inspired the most, and it was presented to me by my boss. So it's simply good is not good enough. Simply because I also practice this very much, because most of us, I would always say, average of the world will come up to 80 and stop there. And people are satisfied, happy and content at 80. But if you want to be that 5%, the 3%, or that differentiator, I would say push for that 100. So when I push for 100, people say, hey, you are a perfectionist, you're like God, only God is at 100. But when you push beyond 80, you may end up at 85, you may be at 90. When rest of the world stops at 80, and when you run that extra mile and reach that 85, 90, that's what makes the difference. So if you ask people, ask me, when rest of your classmates are in this position, what made you to become the CEO? That extra mile. If others stop working at 8 hours, I may go and work for 12 hours. If
okay.
others sleep till 6 o'clock, I may wake up at 5 o'clock. It needs that extra sacrifice and risk, but that
Yes.
push what makes the difference. So that would take you to that extra achievement, extra thing. And end of the day, it will also give you extra joy. When you achieve a higher position, it's also going to give you a higher income. When you have higher income, you are going to enjoy it back. So some of these people said, hey, at the 20s, you didn't enjoy your life. Early part of your life, you were working like crazy. I said, I'm enjoying life now. So
Yeah,
40, 50, I'm spending it back, and I have more money to spend now.
exactly. Okay. So what is your favorite quote or a one-liner, which usually, takes that hotspot in your home or in your office?
I have multiple quotes. I don't know where to start, and even the book has about 10 quotes. But in single line, I always say the motto of life is be happy.
Okay.
Whatever we do, end of the day, we need to live our life happily. And I always say happy. And in your last conversation, you said the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Actually, if you really see, I have also, one of the things I enjoy is doing sessions on time management. People, when
Oh,
they say time management, they think it's a time management skill and a seminar. For me, time management has a different definition, Sorna.
okay.
Time management for me is you have the birth and you have the death. And
Okay.
this is something in an uncertain world, the death is the most certain things which is going to come.
Yes.
In this period, how you manage your time, it's is your time management, how you plan your life, how you
Okay.
say yes to certain things, how you say no to certain things, is all about time management. This is where I bring the seven mantras into play, and that is time management for me. So
Okay.
everybody, the clock is ticking.
Yep.
So where you want to go, you focus on those priorities enough that we satisfy the world. What happened to average world is we spend a lot of time satisfying rest of the world, what that person may think, what he may think, what my mama may think, what my grandma, that aunt may think, and
Okay.
we do things and waste a lot of time. Come on, live your life, move towards it, and in the process, some may get upset about it. Can't help it. Either you keep
Yeah.
satisfying others, or you live your vision and
You.
move on. So when you take a abrupt step like that, of
Yes.
course there may be many who may not like it, but then end of the day, what matters is you, your life, and what you do to your loved ones. For me, that was the core. So I didn't mind others getting upset about me. I ensure that I don't upset whom I love.
Yes, Absolutely. So, it's impossible to make everybody around you happy, ladies and gentlemen. That's a known truth. Yeah, so it is. So, it's better that we make ourselves happy before, and then let the people around us just be happy. Okay. So, okay, when we are talking about the management, time management. Okay, yeah, I just some disturbance there. Okay, so we are talking about the time management thing, right? So, um, how do you plan your day? Just to my audience, a lot of people here would love to know what's your typical day looks like as a CEO of the Sunshine and as a person yourself.
So generally, my ideal day starts by 5:30.
Okay.
Since of late, I have adapted. With COVID, it started. Those days, I did yoga twice a day. Then I
Mhm.
tried to do 3 times a day. With the 53 days lockdown, I have made it a habit to do yoga every day. At least 6 days a week, I do. So 1 hour of yoga. The day starts with me with yoga,
Mhm.
and then come to work. And for me, the work never ends. People ask, can I get an appointment? Are you free? I said, I'll never be free. I said, even when they take me in a coffin, there'll be telephone calls asking me to do that.
Yeah.
So work never ends. When you have a vision or when you have a dream or even in an organization, work never ends. So you got to decide, what am I going to do now? What are my priorities? If I go and sit and read all the emails, my day is gone. If I start reading all the memos which come to my day is gone. So
Yeah.
what are my priorities? What need to go? So based on that, the day goes. And generally, my lifestyle is that my family is in Kandy. So every
Mhm.
Monday I come to Colombo and Friday I get back to Kandy. So
Okay.
I'm a workaholic during these 5 days. So
Mhm.
I spend a lot of time, and then evening I go back, and then I ensure I get 7 hours sleep as well. That's another element people are missing. For me, that 6 to 7 hours sleep is a must. So generally from 10:30 to 5:30 or
Mhm.
10 to 5 or 11 to 6 is my schedule. I
Okay.
somehow try to get that 7 hours sleep, because the
Mhm.
thinking had changed. Good old days, people thought the people who work physically need more rest, and
Yeah.
others it's good to take 5 hours. But the new thinking is people who use their brain or mentally work. You and I and everybody in the audience today, we spend a lot of time in our neurons at work. So we
Exactly.
need that rest more than the person who physically work. Actually, physically work, that physical tiredness which need to go. But the
Yes.
people who think, the people who use their intellectual property more and more
Yeah.
need that rest. So that 7 hours is another thing which I plan out. So that's how my work goes. And since I said I spend 5 days more devoted to work, the
Mhm.
2 days I spend with my family, and I ensure that I spend quality time. And with
Okay.
so many holidays come, then people say, hey, you're missing out on the family. It's only 2 days, not enough. Your life is not worth. But if you
Mhm.
really calculate with the amount of holidays that comes, and if you plan out, I take a lot of breaks. I go on a lot of holidays. I go out to the nature, go inside the jungle, spend a lot of quality time. So if you take it, that's the essential part as well. You taking breaks. I mean,
Yes.
otherwise life become monotonous. So you need to enjoy life, take breaks. So this is how the life had been, and it goes on.
Yeah, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the secret. The secret lies in there. Yeah, in the life of the CEO of Sunshine Pharma. So that's the secret. Now it's open for everybody. Yeah, so great. Okay. Okay. When we are talking about, yeah, I think we almost covered most of the things, important things that needs to be done. So before we just go to audience or taking their comments, so present generation, especially the Gen Z generation, they are like, the whole world is so fast, the things change so fast. And, the competition is something that, like how you said, it's more of a mental stress, So what is that from your side you want to suggest them or advise them on, how much, how they deal with this competitive world and, manage their stress?
Okay, it's very true. It was only yesterday I was telling a friend of mine. My father, when he worked, it was only one organization. Entire 36 years, he worked in one organization. Me in this generation, at least I worked for 3 companies, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. But if you say the Gen Z or the millennials, 2 years is a long period for them.
Yeah.
India gap, 2 years is a long period, and they keep changing. They are tech savvy. It's not the yesterday's person who is today, and it's not the today's person who is tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
you mentioned the word competition. For me, competition for these new millennials and rest of the people, you need to redefine your competition. Competition is how you benchmark yourself. For me,
Mm.
competition was, it's not my neighbor, it's not my colleague, it's not my fellow friend. I don't compete with them. I compete with myself. If I did something yesterday, can I do it better?
Mm.
And can I do that even better tomorrow? If you start this benchmark, you being your own competitor,
Mm.
that helps you to do things better, and that's your progress. A lot of people don't understand that. If at all, for millennials, Z, or anyone else, I would say make yourself, you compete with yourself. What was your new year resolution? What did you do last year? Can you improve it this year? Can you make it better? Good example, I said yoga. I'm counting it on my diary. Last
Mm.
the first year I did 2019, I did 186 sessions. 2020 I did 220 sessions. 2029 I did 296 sessions. This year I have said I am going to exceed 300 if possible daily. So I
Okay.
am competing with myself. So people don't believe I am a person who could not stand properly. So at the age of 50 now I am slowly begun to stand on my head. So I thought that was another target. At 50 I thought I'm going to stand on my head, and I achieved it. So that
Yeah.
was for me. It was like a 2 year process, little by little, how half F stand, little F stand. So now I'm happy. I'm standing on my head. So little things you set it and benchmark your own actions.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very well said. So, ladies and gentlemen, start competing with yourself before you become eligible to compete with others. So, if you win yourself, that's the biggest win you ever can. Okay, great advice on that. Thank you so much. And yeah, we are getting some beautiful comments out there from the people who are watching us live, and they say you're always inspiring. And yeah, Shua says he's happy, when he's around with you. And yeah, yeah, and I think there's a question here. Thank you for your inspirational words, Fulal. Thank you. And yeah, Shua says this was my birthday gift from him. I've read this book. It's very practical, inspiring. Yeah, the talk says it all now. Okay, is true and inspiring leader with a great talent in today's society. Thank you so much for wonderful comments, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching our show live. And there's one question here by Shuo, I think. He asked for. I just saw his question. He asked, like, out of those seven chapters, what is, you have given some seven chapters. Like he said, what is your favorite mantra, seven mantras? So he said, what is your favorite mantra out of the seven? So he wants to know that.
I would say, if you say favorite, is the integrity part, the truth.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's nothing but the truth. Even the Buddhism state, it's the truth what wins. So ultimately, it's you getting to know the truth.
Yeah.
And if you can figure out the truth, life becomes much better. And that will be my favorite mantra.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saindhan. That was truly inspiring. The best of today's conversation, I personally took it is, you are trying to help a person to win over himself. Every point you say, the mantras you say, your favorite mantra is also integrity. So it's important for a person to be himself when no one is watching, just as he is always. So, and also, you should be a self competitor. So all these points somewhere, help you to grow yourself first, and then that's ultimate happiness one can ever get. That was the wonderful point I have taken from today's conversation. Thank you so much for that lovely conversation, for giving us your wonderful time out of your busy schedules and sharing, coming onto the show and sharing your experiences and knowledge. And we just loved it the way it went. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I enjoyed it as well. And it was a pleasure being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful book is out now and it is available on all the online platforms. So you can just grab your edition and have, happy reading it. Thank you so much for being with us today and being a part of our conversation and taking out your time as well. And see you all again next week with another great book and a great author. Thank you so much. Have a great day.